Hello everyone, this is Yamuna from IELTS Crammer, and in my today's video I'm going to share with you some techniques how you can skim and scan for your IELTS reading.
If you want to crack your IELTS, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any updates.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now the topic that I've chosen for today is based on a lot of requests and comments that I've got that you want me to make something on how we can skim and scan in the IELTS reading section. So I have already made a video on what are the top tips for your IELTS reading, and I have linked it here so you can have a look. The agenda for today's video will be, first I will give you some techniques which you need to follow on skimming and scanning your passage or your paragraph. Then I will solve a question with a sample exercise, and finally I will be sharing my personal experience as well on the IELTS reading section. So please stay tuned and you will definitely gain a lot. Now in the IELTS reading section, which lasts for 60 minutes, you will be having certain passages which you have to read, and there will be questions given. You have to find the answers in the passage and write them. It sounds very easy, but it sometimes can get very complicated and tricky, and that's why many people find this section really tough in the IELTS exam. Now the first thing that you need to do when you're skimming and scanning a passage, or when you just get a passage in your reading section, is you have to read the title. So read the title and get a gist of, or get an idea of what this passage can be all about. Now once you have read the title, the next step is to highlight any important names that you're reading, or any important inventions that have taken place during that period, or names of some places, or any dates. So anything that catches your attention that is not just some text, but it is some important information that you think, so just highlight them. If you're giving a computer delivered IELTS test, you have the option where you can right click and then highlight the answer, and in paper delivered you can just underline it. So make sure you highlight. This is one very important step. The next tip that you need to do is read the first 2 lines of the paragraph. Because what generally happens is the author writes the meaning of the paragraph, or what his ideas or what the thoughts are in the first 2 lines. So if you read the first 2 lines of the paragraph, you can easily understand what this para would cover. So make sure you read the first and the second line very carefully. Also ensure to read the first and the last paragraph of your passage, because that is basically the introduction of the passage, and the last para is the conclusion. So if you read the introduction and the conclusion, you know exactly what the author is talking about, and you will get a good idea about what the passage is covering. And when you read the questions, it will really help you to find the relevant answers. So ensure you read these paragraphs very scrutinizingly. Now one very important thing that you need to do is always read the questions first. So when you get your reading passage, you read the title and then just jump to the questions. Just read what the first type of questions are asking you to do. What is the demand of the question? So once you do that, you have a clear idea of what answers you need to look for. So read the questions very carefully, and when you're reading the questions, also just highlight some keywords in the question, like are they looking for any particular dates, or are they looking for a specific word, or are they looking for whatever is the relevant data. So just highlight some keywords in your question as well. Alright, so now you have read the title, you've got a gist, you have skimmed the passage, you have read the questions. Now we come to the final stage, which is scanning the passage. So you would have definitely now highlighted some keywords in your question. So, and you've also highlighted some important events or names or places or information in your passage as well. So now you have to relate them. You have to match. If you feel the answer is hidden in paragraph B based on your skimming, then you have to now target that paragraph and look for the answer. Now in your IELTS reading, sometimes the answers will come in order and sometimes the answers will not. So please ensure you do practice based on the IELTS practice test, so that you get sufficient hand of what is the demand of each type of question. So now I will show you how you can skim and scan for your IELTS reading with a sample question. So I will give you a sample passage from one of the reading tests, and also there will be a set of questions that we'll need to solve. So we'll follow the same techniques that we discussed and find the answer to the question. So here we go. So now on your screen you can see a passage that I have taken from one of the practice tests, and the title of that passage is tourism. So the first thing you're doing is reading the title, so that way you get an idea that this whole passage is about travel and tourism. Now the next things that you need to do is read the first and second line of the paragraph, and if there's anything important or anything that catches my attention, we will highlight them. So tourists tend to visit features of landscape and townscape which separate them off from everyday experience. So something which catches my attention is features of landscape and townscape. So I highlight that. Separate them off from everyday experience. So I'll again highlight everyday experience because it is something different. Then the second line, such aspects are viewed because they are taken to be in some sense out of the ordinary. So again, some sense out of the ordinary. Now again, that sounds something which we can highlight. It can be something important in the paragraph. So I've done that. Now in the paragraph, I'm not seeing any dates or any events or names of any person. So I'm just leaving the paragraph. In the last line, I'm seeing that they are talking about home environment, and the vision is objectified or captured through photographs, postcards, films, and so on, which enable the memory to be endlessly reproduced and recaptured. So in the last 2 or 3 lines, they're talking more about home environment and how all these visions are captured. So again, something I'm finding relevant, so I'm highlighting all of that. Now we'll go to the question. The question is match the headings for paragraph D. So this is paragraph D from the passage. Now what you need to do is also highlight some keywords in the question. So now the first heading that we are seeing is essence of modern tourism. So now in modern tourism is basically the keyword in this particular heading. So now I'm going to go back to the passage and I'm going to scan it. So do I see modern tourism anywhere? No, I don't. So I tick off that this is not the heading. Then the next one is tourism versus leisure. So here the keyword is versus leisure. So it is being compared or being just checked with leisure. So again, I'm going back to the passage and scanning it. Do I find anything about leisure in there? No, I don't. So again, I cut it off. This is not the answer. The third one, the artificiality of modern tourism. Now again, in the passage, are they saying anything about modern tourism? No, I can't see anything about modern tourism or anything about being artificial. They are talking about in the first and second lines, they are talking about separate them off from everyday experience, or they are saying about some sense out of the ordinary, so something extraordinary, but it's not mentioned about anything being artificial. So again, be very careful. Sometimes they write it in this way so that you get tricked, but make sure that you go to the real meaning and don't get confused by these externals. So again, I cut this off because I don't think this will be the answer. The next one, role of modern tour guides. Now I didn't read anything about modern tour guides. That's my keyword. I didn't find that anywhere in the passage. So again, I'm going to cut this heading off because this is not the right answer. Now our last option is creating an alternative to the everyday experience. So yes, I did find the keyword everyday experience. I did find the keyword alternative in a different way, which has been given in the first line, where it's saying that tourists tend to visit features of landscape and townscape which separate them off from everyday experience. And such aspects are viewed because they are taken to be in some sense out of the ordinary. So over here, they are giving an idea that it is actually an alternative to the everyday experience, which they don't get every day, which they don't see it on a daily basis. Even in the last 3 lines when we are reading, it is saying that it is something which they would not normally do in their home environment. So again, it is giving me an idea that this is an alternative. This is not something which people are doing every day. So I tick this, that yes, this one, creating an alternative to the everyday experience, is the right answer for this particular paragraph. So I put that in, and that's how first you read the title, you skimmed the passage, you read the question, you took the keywords, and finally you scanned, and there you go, you found the answer. So initially this can take a little bit of time, but once you keep doing it on a regular basis, you will be very proficient and quick in finding the answers. So I hope you found that exercise really helpful. Now, as promised in the beginning, I would be sharing a little bit of my personal experience. Now, out of all the sections in the IELTS, I found the IELTS reading section the toughest, because it is a limited time and you have certain questions, and sometimes the answers don't come in order, and the vocabulary of the passages can be a little misleading or can be a little difficult to interpret. So I found that a section really challenging. But what really helped me was sufficient practice. So I ensured that I did a lot of practice of the different types of reading tests. So that way I gained an insight or an exposure of what are the different types of questions that usually come. And when I checked my answers, I saw that I'm continuously getting a mistake, maybe in, say, true, false, or not given. So I went to the crux at why am I getting a mistake again and again only in true, false, and not given. So I went to the crux, found out where my mistake was, and worked on that. And therefore, it really helped to boost my score. So my real important tip to you is that you need to practice a lot for IELTS reading if you feel that this section is your weakness. So well, with that we end our video for today. I really hope you enjoyed and found this useful. Please let me know in the comments below how you found the video. Press the like button so that I know you are being benefited by it, and that encourages me to make more videos. Please also ensure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you're updated whenever I post a new video. So till we meet in our next video, I wish you good luck on your IELTS journey. Take care.